Today I'll be checking out Ubuntu 25.04 Plucky Puffin, which was just released, so we're going to be reviewing things today, getting into what all improvements and enhancements have been made with this version of Ubuntu. What's fantastic about this is that there's quite a few updates, and it may be worth upgrading, especially if you're at 24.10. We'll first start out by talking about a little bit of an enhancement to the actual installer here. So right now I'm trying to install 25.10 with Ubuntu 24.04. Notice we have multiple options here, including automatically installing it alongside the 24.04 version, erasing 24.04 completely, and then installing 25.10 in place of it. We can also erase the disk entirely and then install Ubuntu 25.04. And finally, of course, the manual installation route, which is what I tell most people to go through anyway once they're setting up, so they can customize the way that they want their partitions to show up. Anyways, this is great because the new Flutter-based installer did not have clear options for dual boot setups. This now allows people to more intuitively set up their Ubuntu operating system. Anyways, if I hit next, you can see what the newer setup looks like. I can now install 25.04 alongside. They could definitely make this a little better. I think they give us good options. It's just not intuitive. For example, what exactly does the 9.8 out of 120 gigs mean? Clearly, SDA2 is where Ubuntu 24.04 will live, but is that where 25.04 will live? And what is this 50.6 gigs? Is that how much we're going to allocate to 25.04? Just a little weird the way that they have this set up, but we have the hooks finally for an enhanced installer that will help us with our dual boot setups. What's also really cool is you can now even install Ubuntu alongside a BitLocker encrypted drive. For example, if you had Windows that was encrypted, we now have an option for that as well in the new Flutter-based installer. And after you run through the installer, you're welcomed by the traditional welcome screen, which helps you complete setup. Anyways, being welcomed to Ubuntu 25.04. The new mascot here is Plucky Puffin. You can see the new logo, and we've seen a few actual visual refreshes in this version of Ubuntu, which is quite fascinating. I'm going to go through this real quick just to set things up, finish up. And here's what we're greeted by: a new wallpaper and a new refresh of icons. If we click to see our applications, one thing you'll notice is the Yaru icon sets have been improved with better scaling. It doesn't look quite as much of a mess where they were massive icons and they just took up way too much space. The Ubuntu team actually went through and scaled these a little better. We still have a radius across the selection of icons, but this lets you see more applications and select between more because the scaling has been improved. I say it makes for a more polished look whenever you're going through the documents. Also, the document viewer has been upgraded. If you click on document viewer, well, it's not a new app, but it is a new default. It's called Papers instead of Evans Papers. It's originally from the Evans codebase, but it was updated to GTK4 and partially rewritten in Rust. So if we open up a PDF, it says this one's actually damaged, which is interesting. Not sure why that's the case. Let's see what happens if I just try to open it up in Firefox. Sure enough, this one doesn't work right. Well, I got another one, no worries there. But I do find it kind of funny that that didn't work. Well, here's the new default PDF app, Papers, and it does its job like you would expect. Pages on the left-hand side that you can select through. It's got zooming directly on the front page. You can scale it back real easily to its initial scale and even make comments and annotations throughout your documentation. Fairly simple, great. As far as I'm aware, nothing missing, clean, and partially written in Rust. I wonder if the Ubuntu team is going to get more and more into changing their code base over to Rust. Some of their apps are actually written in Electron right now. I'd love to see that go to another language. But regardless, a big step forward for easier to use applications. Also in the terminal, if you run the XDG terminal executive, this is now installed by default, making it easier to switch the user's default terminal when using things like Control-Alt-T for the shortcut. Actually, now you can select your favorite non-default terminal emulator. For example, if you had Ghosty, you can launch your own terminal by setting it up. For example, in the config file for the user, you should have this Ubuntu XDG terminals.list where you can set your default terminal here. For example, If I wanted the Ghosty app, it would be Calm, which this is kind of annoying because you can't just type in the command that would launch the terminal. It's working with .desktop. So in that case, this works a little bit differently than what most people are used to. You'd have to enter the IDs registered to the system. For example, I don't know, if we had org kd console and we wanted to use console, we'd have to do something like this. I think this is going to get improved, but either way, we at least have the option to set a default terminal instead of the GNOME terminal. We've also updated to the Linux kernel 6.14, of course, bringing more performance improvements, enhanced hardware support, and better gaming performance. One of the biggest things that has come to Ubuntu 25.04 is for actually NVIDIA users. NVIDIA users now have support natively for the NVIDIA Dynamic Boost feature. What does this mean? On compatible laptops, this is a power management feature that allocates system resources dynamically, and it just helps distribute power between things like the GPU and CPU, giving you better performance altogether. You can now enable this by default, which is offered in Plucky Penguin, which is really nice. Let's move on to some of the visual updates before we get to resource usage on the system. But before we do, make sure to smash that like button and take a moment to subscribe below. YouTube can get finicky and you wouldn't want to miss another video like this. With Ubuntu 25.04, they upgraded to GNOME 48 Bengaluru, which was released on March 19th, 2025, and has a lot of new features that were introduced. Things like notification stacking. So you can stack your notifications if they're from the same type of application. Makes it really easy to view what's going on. So you can see Fractal here and completely dismissing. We also have performance improvements under the hood with reduced CPU and memory usage for many common operations. File indexing now uses less memory. Users with monitors that are attached to discrete graphics cards have improved performance and stability. A lot quicker file rendering speeds, including a 5 times increase when loading and 10 times increase when rendering with scrolling. That's all in files. And finally, optimizations to the latest GTK version for faster performance. In an enhanced image viewer, we now have updates to the default image viewer, which was introduced back in version 485. And 48 now has this new image editing feature, which allows for cropping, rotating, flipping images, and so on and so forth, making it a lot easier to use the application. And one of the biggest changes is GNOME 48, is the digital well-being app. That's right. If you type in well-being, you can now see the new well-being app inside of the settings. This lets you know how long you've been on your computer staring at your screen. Right now, I'm stuck at 17 minutes, and I can actually limit my screen time and put my daily limit 8 hours. I can also do grayscale if I reach those limits. I also can set break reminders for eyesight, movement, and even play sounds, depending on how I want to be reminded. This is a great application. I really like this, especially for us who are using our computers a lot. It's nice to at least be reminded because we can get hyper-focused in what we're doing. You can also disable the screen time recording data completely, although this is all, from what I understand, saved locally. As it says right here, this data is never shared outside the system. So disabling it really just disables the logs that save it locally. Also, if you have a laptop, we also gain a new audio player with GNOME 48, better time zone support in the calendar, and an updated text editor. I'm not going to go through all of these because there's still a lot more stuff to cover with Ubuntu 25.04, but I did want to give you some of the GNOME 48 updates that you get with Ubuntu 25.04. One other thing you're going to see when you're installing the latest version of the Ubuntu operating system is the default selection between which architecture you want. They now have this new ARM 64-bit architecture. And you might be asking, what's the difference here between these two? Well, this new ARM 64-bit installer is a generic ARM 64 installer, which supports a wider range of ARM hardware, including the Snapdragon X Elite laptops. So with ARM laptops being more and more popular, this expands things further in order to support these types of hardwares. Also, this can help with things like VMs, devices with ACPI plus EFI, and like I said, those Snapdragon Windows computers. So that's nice to see. Also, it's 3.6 gigs instead of the almost 6 gigs that you install with the Intel x86 64-bit architecture. Anyways, that's nice to see. And there are so many more small updates that have been made to this Plucky Puffin release. And I'm going to leave a link to the release notes in the description below. You'll want to check that out if you want to dive even deeper into this. But I want to get back into the desktop and talk about support for 25.04, as it's supported for about 9 months until January 2026. Again, you can upgrade to this if you're using Ubuntu 24.10, and I suggest to make the upgrade because it has some wonderful updates and tools that overall improve the user experience, especially with using GNOME 48. Let's now take a moment and check out what system usage and info looks like. And while I'm installing some applications so I can show you the resource usage, I want to talk about the updated apt formatting layout so you can see things much better. Notice how you can easily tell what's going on now. Before, it used to be just a jumbled mess of white lettering and everything was pushed together, didn't have the spacing, but now we have this very nice way of seeing what's being installed. So it says installing HTOP. It suggests these packages if we want more support. It's got a summary of what exactly is going to happen. It shows you what mirrors things are coming from. They could probably improve this one just to kind of explain for users what's happening down here, because this is pretty much the jumbled mess that it used to be. Everything used to be together. It was hard to tell, what line meant what, how things grouped together, but this new apt 3.0 version really helps things out. Anyways, that's just me geeking out at this point. HTOP is installed, and let's get to what we all want to see. First off, so if I run HTOP, I'm going to see here that I'm running right at a gig, which is fantastic, as the system has been up for quite a few minutes and the resource usage hasn't gone up. I've ran into that issue on previous GNOME desktop environments before, but 1 gig is pretty reasonable. We're about to go below that 1 gig threshold, which is really great for a modern desktop environment. The GNOME team has been working hard to bring this down. I know in previous versions, we've been all the way up to around 1.4 gigs. So this just keeps getting improved. I really love to see it. There's 110 tasks running, 344 threads, 94 kernel threads, and I've been up for 34 minutes here. The CPU is going between 2 and 5%. And now let's check out NeoFetch to see more information about the system. This is Ubuntu 25.04, again, the x86-64 version. We're running the 6.14 generic kernel. We have 1,571 native packages and 12 snap packages pre-installed here. We're running Bash 5.2, GNOME 48 with the Iwata window manager theme, Yaru for our icon sets. And this is all being emulated on an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X series. Again, we're using around 1.1 gigs out of the 8 gigs available on the system while only running the terminal. And 2 last things I want to talk about is the HDR high dynamic range support is now compatible for many. And another thing that's very exciting is in the settings, if we go to displays and you have the support, you will now get an option to turn on HDR support and set up the brightness for that support. Now, I don't have a HDR supported monitor or compatible monitor, so I don't have the toggle, but if you do have one that's connected and compatible, you will be able to now use that HDR monitor with Ubuntu 25.04, which is very exciting for users. We also have dynamic triple buffering, which improves animations and smoothness and reduces frame drops. That's exciting as well. Those are the last couple features that I wanted to cover. In my opinion here, Ubuntu 25.04 has brought us a bunch of updates. And if you're considering upgrading, especially from 24.10, I think it's very well worth it. If you're on the long-term support edition, I don't think you should be making the change just because you're going to be losing a lot of the stable support that you're going to be getting for the 4-year period, all for something that's going to be pretty much deprecated in about 9 months. Well, I definitely want to hear from you in the comment section. Is it worth making the upgrade for you? Let me know. Also, don't forget to subscribe below and smash that like button for more videos like this. Catch me in a great community on Discord, and I'll catch you in another video. Thanks for watching. Linux can be hard to understand, but I take the most commonly used terms, commands, and subjects in Linux, and I break them down into simple to read documents, including Linux terms, flashcards, a checklist, a cheat sheet, and a mind map. And if you're ready to level up your Linux experience and knowledge, go to savvynick.com now and get access to these sheets.